everybody. Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity, and I don't know if you're watching any of the other interviews tied to this, but I'm interviewing three of the top Elvis tribute artists, and they are known for being at the top of the game, and that's a tough competitive field out there because there's a lot of great Elvis tribute artists out there, but Emilio Santoro is one of those. He focuses on the period between Elvis's early career up through 1968. Although he will pull some songs into his shows from after that period, that is his wheelhouse, his sweet spot, if you will, because he's 22 years old. I mean, he can't look like a 42-year-old Elvis at 22. I think I kind of did at that time, and I'm not an Elvis tribute artist. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, Emilio is phenomenal. To hear his voice, I swear you'll think you're listening to Elvis. And he is amazing, especially for that era that he covers. He's an award winner. He's going to be performing at Elvis Week, and he's a favorite at Elvis Week. And when you hear us talk, you're going to be blown away that he actually lives in the UK and has a very proper British accent. And that's kind of fun to listen to, especially if you're expecting to hear Elvis's Southern accent, so to speak. So Emilio is a great artist. I encourage you to check out his website, his social media, and the videos on YouTube because he does an amazing job. And while you're listening to this interview, would you mind hitting like and subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to or hearing, watching this interview on? It shouldn't cost you anything, and it will definitely help out Boomerocity. And we always appreciate that help, which is just as simple as listening and subscribing. Those two things help us tremendously, and I greatly appreciate it. So without any further ado, here's my first interview with Emilio Santoro. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care. Hello, Emilio. How you doing?
Hey, Randy. How are you doing, Randy?
I'm doing great. Where are you clicking in from besides your car?
Well, yeah, so I'm just on the way. I'm driving to a gig, so I've had to pull over on a lay-by, but I'm in Bristol at the minute in the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you clarified that because I'm in Tennessee and there's a Bristol here too. So,
Bristol, England.
Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure.
So,
sorry, Randy,
sure.
2 seconds. Let me just
No problem.
make sure I can hear you properly.
So, I've got to tell you, I've been blown away by how great your voice is in mimicking Elvis. The first concert I ever went to was Elvis Presley. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I was 13, 14 years old, and it was on an Easter Sunday in 1973
Wow.
at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona. So,
Good
and
year to see him. That was a very good year to see him.
oh yeah, yeah. I think it was probably right at his peak or just before the actual peak. And while I was there, I always tell this story that I got there 2 hours early, and I got to meet. I was standing in front of the stage, and I was admiring that black guitar with his name written in script on the neck. And I saw somebody walk up beside me. I turned and looked, and it was Colonel Parker. And
Oh, no way. What?
yeah, I walked right up and he was staring at the stage, same place I was. And I asked him if he was the colonel and he said yes. And I asked him two or three other questions like where did Elvis perform the night before and where is he going to perform next? And then my last question was, can I go backstage and meet Elvis? And he goes, no. And he turns around and walks off. So,
Yeah, that sounds.
but it was my
about
first
right.
celebrity interview, so,
Hey, well, that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool celebrity to interview.
yeah. Well, man, you nail Elvis's voice. I'm blown away by that, and my hats off to you for how well you do it. I mean, you don't there's a lot of imitators out there, but but by comparison, a lot less tribute artists. And those, you guys do exceptionally well in doing it. And I'm like I said, I shared your video on my personal Facebook page earlier, and people are
Right,
saying
thank
the
you.
same thing, that you nail it. So
Appreciate that.
what I know you've answered these questions before, but for those who are not familiar with you, how did you
Yeah.
get involved in being a Elvis tribute artist?
So from the age of 4 years old, I was sort of brought up on Elvis music. My mum would always play Elvis music around the house on the radio or on the TV. And I specifically remember one Christmas, I wrote to Santa and I was asking for an Elvis jumpsuit. So luckily that next Christmas, I opened a present and it was an Elvis jumpsuit that I had made. Um, and even from then, as a young guy, I'd watch Elvis constantly on TV and study him and just watch his mannerisms, and I just thought he was the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I still think he is. But I then went into the local school talent show, and I dressed up as Elvis. I sung "Burning Love," which is completely different to all of what my friends were doing. They were breakdancing or doing whatever, and I was there in my Elvis jumpsuit. I had a scarf around my neck, and my grandma was in the front row, and I put a scarf around her neck, give her a little kiss on the cheek, and I went back to singing "Burning Love." So it's a crazy thing, really. I mean, when I was doing that, then I was just an Elvis fan singing the songs, and I never thought I'd be able to make a career out of it. But I still see it as I'm the most fortunate guy in the world. Seriously, I've never had to work a day in my life already because I'm still just that fan that's being able to travel the world singing the songs, and I absolutely love it. So I'm always grateful to my mum for getting me into the best music that's ever been made.
Well, our stories are similar, even though I'm a lot older than you. My mom got me interested in Elvis, and she passed away a few years ago, and I have her collection of Elvis 45 RPM records. It was those records that got me interested in Elvis,
There you
and
go.
watching the movies, and him usually winning the fights. I was never much of a fighter, but
Uh,
yeah, it was those same things. And I think it's cool you got to have the jumpsuits, because when I was a teenager, I wanted jumpsuits. I wanted to wear them to school.
yeah,
So
yeah. I wasn't planning on wearing them to school. I always did say that I wanted to have the "If I Can Dream" suit for my prom suit, but then I sort of got a bit older and I thought, I don't think that's the best idea, to be honest.
what does it mean to you to be for you to be paying tribute to Elvis? I know that for those of us that are fans, I mean, I guess we all pay tribute in our own ways by listening to the music, reading the books, watching the movies, um, and maybe even attending tribute artist concerts. What for you though, as a tribute artist? I guess you guys call them ETAs inside your own industry
GTA.
there. Yeah.
That's right.
So, what does it mean to you to be one?
Yeah. So I mean, I always say that in my shows, first and foremost, I am an Elvis Presley fan. I don't pretend to be Elvis. I don't think I'm Elvis. There will only ever be one Elvis, and I truly do believe that. What I do is just pay a tribute to Elvis, my idol, and I'm just sort of helping carry on the legacy, just giving those Elvis fans maybe an insight to what it may have been like to see Elvis live, or those people who were lucky enough, like yourself, that had seen Elvis live, like just bringing back that memory. But I think I think everyone does their part within carrying out on Elvis's legacy, whether you're on the stage singing or if you're sat in the audience. I think at the end of the day, if no one was sat in the audience, I'd probably just be singing the songs in the shower, and like it doesn't really have the same effect. But I'm so fortunate to be in a position to bring happiness to people's lives, to just bring some memories back, or just like I said, giving that insight to what Elvis may have been like live on stage. But I definitely think that everyone plays their part, and I think if it wasn't for the Elvis fans that still listen to their music and pass it down generation to generation, Elvis's legacy wouldn't be what it is now. And I think Elvis's music and legacy is just as big now as it was back in '77 when he passed away.
I agree. I agree. Where so you're on your for your tribute, you what center on his early career up through 68, or do you go beyond that?
No, that's exactly right. So I'm only 22 years old now. So a lot of people are asking why I don't do jumpsuits or any of the concert years. And Elvis was in his 30s when he was doing that. So I mean, I always tell them I don't want to look a fetus in a jumpsuit. I don't think there's anything worse than that. But I think I pay tribute to the young eras. Elvis was around my age when he was first starting out, so I think it's perfect for me. My voice and my look just sort of fits that for me right now. But like you said, I go all the way up to the 68, so the 68 comeback, especially with the leather outfits. But every now and again in my shows, I'll chuck in some like the Suspicious Mind songs because people just want to hear that. And I think you just have to play to what the audience want to hear sometimes because they're the guys and girls that are paying the tickets. So you just have to please the audience. But I tend to do from early 54 all the way up to 68.
Very cool. What are fans? Well, let me put it a different way. Do you have any stories, fan stories, crowd reaction stories, things that are especially special to you with regards to your work as a Elvis tribute artist?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to perform in front of some of Elvis's people that's worked with Elvis, and I'm good friends with Larry Strickland, who sung with Elvis hundreds of times in the concert years, and he was actually one of the judges for when I won the competition at Graceland, and we've stayed in contact, and he's given me a lot of advice and also a lot of feedback saying about there's certain times where I was on stage and I'll do a little look or something like that. I'll just look out in the audience and he would say that's so Elvisy. And to have someone that's performed with Elvis so many times, being an Elvis fan first and foremost, like I said, I just get chills thinking about that. But regarding the fans, I mean, the fans are amazing. I've had so many amazing opportunities to, whenever I'm at my shows, I always like to see if there's any young guys or girls in the audience, like that I try to sort of encourage to come up on the stage and sing a few songs or get up and have a dance with me. Because I remember being the 4-year-old, the 7-year-old in the shows that I sat up there, and I was lucky enough that the Elvis tributes that I used to go watch would always sort of encourage it and encourage the love for Elvis's music. So I always try to do that within my shows. There's been a few times where I've brought some kids up on stage to have a little dance or have a sing song with me. But and then a few years later, now they're being Elvis tributes themselves. So I think it's just great. I mean, I'm able to sort of do this whole full circle for me personally. That I'm able to sort of hand it down to the next generation now. I'm the old timer now, and all these young guys and girls are coming. It's really great to see, really.
I'll be darned. You being an old timer, you're like old enough to be my grandson. So
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's 10 years between us. Come on.
I'm about to turn 66. So
Oh,
hey, I saw
good.
Elvis in concert, so I got to be old, right? So
hey, well, that's yeah. Well, I wish I saw him. So I'm very jealous of that for sure.
Did you meet any other of Elvis's people? Anybody from his circle besides Larry?
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to meet Sam Thompson, Linda's brother, and also Elvis's bodyguard. Charles Stone, Elvis's tour manager. I've met Estelle Brown from the Sweet Inspirations. I've met Glenn Hardin. I had a picture with him, spoke to him for a little bit, and I walked past James Burton once at the Graceland Guest House, but I was just shell shocked, and I was too nervous to actually go up to him and speak to him. So I'm pinching myself that I never got that interaction. And they're always so accommodating. Seriously, like I mean, these people, I bet you they get stopped all the time, but every time that I see them getting stopped, they're always so welcoming to the Elvis fans. I think they love it that there's so many people that still love their Elvis's music, and it's great to see.
I agree. I've had the privilege of meeting James in person at backstage in Nashville just before COVID hit. He had a fundraiser at the Skirmerhorn there, and I got to go. Well, Brian got me backstage. He was helping James with that, and so I got to have my picture taken with James. And boy, what a thrill that was for me! But I've interviewed James, Donnie Sumner, Jerry Sheff, Donna Presley, Elvis's cousin. And if I can't remember if I said Donnie Sumner or not, he was from the Stamps, but he was, I guess, JD's nephew. But you're right; they're all very gracious people and always great to talk to. So I'm going to ask you kind of a two-tiered question here, and it involves Elvis's songs. first of all, for you and your shows that you do, your act, what song that you perform would you point people to who are not familiar with your career? Which song do you perform of Elvis's that you'd point to as a calling card, saying, "Hey, if you like what I do on this one, you're going to love my shows"?
I would definitely say, I mean, so my winning song at Graceland was a song called Blue Moon. So it's not actually a very well-known Elvis song, but we all know the song Blue Moon originally by the Marcells. The bar, ba, da,
Hmm.
bar, da, bar, da, bar, bar. So Elvis's version is completely different. Elvis's version is very haunting. So I would say, I mean, if people would want to check that out, I think I'm always proud of that performance. It's always a special song to me. So every time I sing that, I really get in the zone for that one. But I think it's a very different one. So if people really take to that one, then I hope they'll definitely like all my songs where I'm going a bit crazy doing all the moves that Elvis was doing in the 50s. So I mean, I love all of Elvis's ballads, and I love singing those ballads. So if people appreciate me singing those ballads, then I hope they enjoy me doing all the prancing about on stage and all the cool dancing.
So, what's your favorite Elvis song then? Whether you perform it or not, it's immaterial. What's your favorite Elvis song?
It's hard. I'm sure you're the same, Randy. That it's hard to choose an Elvis song that's just your favorite, and it seems to change every other week or every month. Like you'll just be hooked on this one song for a good month. But for me, I've had a few favorites in the past. Like I'll Never Know, Danny Boy's been a favorite of mine for a while. But at the minute, I'm really loving Elvis's '60s stuff, like the the Potluck album, the I Got Lucky album, the Elvis is Back. And there's a song on that I Got Lucky album called Fools Fall in Love that was by the Drifters. And I get to perform that one in my shows now. I love listening to that song. And Gonna Get Back Home Somehow, Soldier Boy, all those early 60s songs. I just think Elvis's voice was so pure. He's just come out of the army and he's really starting to find his voice. Like he's in the balance between his operatic side of the 70s big power ballads and then the raw and raspy side of his 50s. I think it's just an amazing blend. And those songs are just such a cool crooner type of song, feel to it. I mean, I love Dean Martin, Bobby Darin, Frank Sinatra, all those crooners, and I really thought that those early 60s, Elvis really had that side to him.
Wow, very cool. I know that let's see, you're going to be coming to the States here pretty soon, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be coming over. I'm back and forth from the States a bit, but I actually get over to the stateside on August the 6th, and I'm looking forward to it.
For Elvis Week, correct?
Yeah, so I'll be over there for Elvis Week, and I've actually got a show actually with Brian in Nashville on the 12th and the 13th, which I'm looking forward to as well.
Very cool. I wish I could make it. I'm going to be tied in. I'm in the Nashville's in the middle of Tennessee, and I'm at the eastern end. I'm in the Smoky Mountains.
Right.
So,
Oh,
but
okay.
maybe
So
I could.
I went to Dollywood not long ago, so I've been to the Smoky Mountains.
Oh, okay. Well, you were just a couple miles from where I live. I'm just
Okay.
2 miles up the road from the service entrance. So
I'll pop in for a cup of tea next time I'm there.
do that. We'll have to do that. We'll sit and talk Elvis stuff. I'll bring my
That sounds
ticket
good.
stub. I'll show you my ticket stub from when I saw him in concert. So
I look forward to seeing it, man. I look forward to seeing it. That'd be cool.
so how can people find out where you're going to be performing? What what websites? Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever.
So my website is www.emiliosantoro.com, and I've got my Facebook and my Instagram and my TikTok socials. If you just type in my name, Emilio Santoro, it should come up. But Emilio Santoro, Elvis, or whatever, people will normally type that in, and it normally comes up. But you'll sort of be able to keep up to date with my list of shows over here in the UK or whenever I'm stateside. But you'll also be able to see me at Graceland, where you can also find the schedule for that at www.visitgraceland.com.
Very cool. Well, Emilio, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got to run to your gig, but again, I got to salute you for how great you sound. And my door is always open to you, man. If you got a special project coming up and you want to need help getting the word out, let me know. Let Brian know. He can let me know, and we'll set up another one of these, and I'll do my part to help get the word out. And when you come back to Dollywood, please give me a shout, and we'll have that cup of tea together.
There we go. We'll ride the Eagle together. How about that?
There you go. That sounds great. All right, my friend,
Thank you,
be
Randy.
safe heading to the gig, and we'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
again down the road.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for a nice conversation.
All right, likewise. Take care.